Oh no!
Wait a minute.
Oh god, oh god.
Going for the. Oh, wait a minute! Whoa! What the hell?
What a counter! Samoa Joe hasn't been the STF. Lord tap.
Kidding! You're kidding! You're absolutely kidding! He just countered the punch!
What the hell? Samoa Joe in the middle of the ring with Randy Orton. Orton has nowhere to go.
Fans are on their feet. They have no idea what to think. What is this?
This match is unbelievable.
Oh my god!
Does Orton have enough to get out of it?
Orton might just tap out to Samoa Joe. This is an
Samoa
IWC
Joe has pushed this in as much as he can.
This could be history in the making. Samoa Joe, Orton stuck in the middle of the ring, caught the STF.
And Orton knows it. He taps out. Samoa Joe gets the win.
What a match! What a match!
What's that? Samoa Joe just made Randy Orton. Randy Orton just. Someone. I can't talk. What just happened?
What just happened to Samoa Joe after months of back and forth has been able to put away Randy Orton in the grandest stage of them all. I mean, all the respect in the world for Randy Orton for everything that he endured to continue to fight back. But, I mean, that was, like the counter just, I don't know, I'm actually at a loss for words.
So Jackson, so am I. No one can believe what just happened. The biggest match of Randy Orton's career, or of Samoa Joe's career.
Nonetheless, even then, I can't believe Samoa Joe just countered the punch. I've never seen anyone do that to Randy Orton, let alone make him tap out in the middle of the ring.
He made Randy Orton tap out. There is a short list of men who have accomplished that.
And speaking of submissions, we see Alberto Del Rio backstage. He's getting ready. We saw Del Rio getting ready for his match with Bobby Lashley shortly coming up. I'm still reeling after an absolutely incredible encounter between Samoa Joe and Randy Orton.
I mean, it really was an incredible matchup, but you know, the thing is, as big as that match was, like you said, you know, tonight is barely over. I mean, we do have our next match is coming up. Again, it is Alberto Del Rio. He's going to take on Bobby Lashley. And I think this is going to be another big one.
This has definitely got the name Show Stealer written all over it.
Two rising stars in the WEDF gonna collide tonight.
And here comes the Mexican aristocrat himself, debut.
The Blood of Kings.
Now, for those of you again who are unsure of why this matchup is taking place, Del Rio, really ever since his debut, has done whatever he can to pick on all of the quote-unquote little people of WEDF. Of course, he injured Rey Mysterio on in his official debut, and yes, he continues to get no reaction, but that's whatever. But anyway, so he's picking on all these little guys, and so a couple weeks ago on SmackDown, Bobby Lashley came to him and said, "Why don't you pick on somebody your own size?" And so that's what this contest comes into play.
I don't think it's just quite picking on someone your own size. I think Del Rio is verbally spitting off more than he can chew in this match.
Especially given the credentials of Bobby Lashley, the strength of Bobby Lashley. I'm a personal testament to this. Bobby Lashley is no easy man to face in the ring, and he is the wrong man to piss off.
I mean, you look at the history of what Bobby Lashley has been able to accomplish, and I think to this day, Lashley has been one of the most dominant Intercontinental champions that we've ever seen.
That's absolutely correct. Bobby Lashley, for the better part of the year 2011, held on to that Intercontinental Championship with an iron fist, and I gotta say, I think Bobby Lashley might be setting his mind on bigger and brighter and better things in the future, perhaps such as a World Heavyweight Championship.
Don't forget, we also got that draft coming up. You know, in a couple months, Bobby Lashley could be Raw's problem. And I can't see Miz or Stone Cold keeping that WEDF Championship away from him if he so sets his mind to it.
Or any of the 3 men in the world title match tonight, Kurt Angle, Danny Jackpot, or John Cena. One thing is clear, though, if Del Rio can defeat a clear world title contender in Bobby Lashley, you can definitely think the Mexican aristocrat will be opening some eyes here.
Bobby Lashley. Del Rio started going to work on the arm. Bobby Lashley, though, was able to counter it. Now Del Rio getting the heck out of Dodge for that. Because he didn't want any part of Lashley.
Taking his time on the outside. Exactly. Lashley throwing Del Rio quickly back into the ring. Lashley trying to pick up Del Rio for a suplex. No! Well-placed elbow from Del Rio.
I gotta mention, and I can't believe I'm doing this, but despite the size of Bobby Lashley, we have to remember that Del Rio is a lot bigger than he might seem. He's actually about 6'5", and I don't know what he weighs in at, but he's definitely not the lightweight that he would appear to be in the ring with Bobby Lashley.
Definitely. Del Rio is definitely one of those deceptively large men.
Not to mention, Alberto Del Rio, submission artist, has a bit of experience in mixed martial arts, and you see him going to work on that arm there. You could definitely...
Exactly. Del Rio, you know, we can talk about amateur, or Bobby Lashley's amateur credentials. Del Rio was not only was he a mixed martial artist, he had 9 victories, 7 of those by submission, 2 by knockout. So Del Rio is legit.
And you see Del Rio going to work on the arms of Bobby Lashley. That is going to be one key point of Del Rio's strategy here, and he completely... Why would he try that?
He whiffed with that drop kick.
He didn't even just whiff, he reacted 2 seconds way too late. Bobby Lashley could have been running to China at that point.
I think that the reason why is because Bobby Lashley is deceivably quick. You know, look
at the strength of Lashley.
He's as big as he is and he's as strong as he is, but much like, you know, Samoa Joe, who we saw just a little bit ago, you know, he really does have the technical ability and the speed that you wouldn't expect from a guy the size of Bobby Lashley.
Oh man, Lashley comes to Raw. If him and Samoa Joe were to lock horns, that'd be a barn burner.
Oh man!
Actually, here, interestingly enough, that you mentioned that, they actually did lock up, and Lashley got the upper hand.
I believe Lashley is also one of the only few men to cleanly defeat Samoa Joe without interference or otherwise happening to distract Samoa Joe or put a handicap on Joe.
Now look at Del Rio right here. Smart strategy. He's working on the arm, and now he's just watching. He's just staring at his work here. But I mean,
measuring Lashley, studying him.
Oh, we also forget to mention, since we mentioned Del Rio's mixed martial arts, Lashley not too unfamiliar with the mixed martial arts universe himself.
Indeed, Lashley is also he's actually one of the few men to be pursuing both a wrestling and mixed martial arts career simultaneously. Very impressive.
Just goes to show you.
Del Rio there with the upper hand, the cheap shot, the eye rake, but it appears to be effective.
And you saw the power on display there with Del Rio doing that electric chair, but now Del Rio!
Very tricky there, arm flip there, just tossing Lashley around with surprising strength, and now with that knee to the back.
Hyperextending that joint, contorting Bobby Lashley's arms in all sorts of ways and directions and bends. It's just unbelievable.
Del Rio is undoubtedly working, you know.
Big enziguri.
Signature enziguri from Del Rio.
But he's undoubtedly working on the back and also the arm, of course, because the signature move of Alberto Del Rio is of course the cross arm breaker, which is a very dangerous maneuver.
So Homer,
what's up?
You've been in the ring with Alberto Del Rio before. If you were Bobby Lashley in that ring, what exactly would you do? What kind of game plan would you have to take on Alberto Del Rio?
Well, I think that the best thing you have to do with Alberto Del Rio it's we have a cover right here, but it's actually the way that I defeated him is that you have to speed the pace of the matchup, and you have to use your strength. You know, Bobby Lashley is clearly the stronger competitor, so you know, just overpower him, because if you speed it up just to the right pace and you overpower him, then Del Rio has no chance of locking in that cross arm breaker.
Not to mention a man of Bobby Lashley's frame, a man deceptively fast as he is, ungodly powerful.
Which is exactly why I say that he needs to speed up the pace of this match. The slower that the pace becomes, the more advantage.
Wait a minute, Bridget German! 1, 2!
No, Bobby Lashley will pop up.
The slower this match goes for Del Rio, though, the more he keeps working on Lashley's arms and keeps applying those submissions and taking his time, the better this will get for him. But for a guy with Lashley, a guy his frame, a guy his speed, a guy his size, you got to think if he combines all those together, it'll be like watching a human wrecking ball.
But think about it. Speaking of the cross arm breaker, and speaking of the size of Lashley, look at the size of this man's arms.
Wait a minute!
Torture rack.
Torture rack.
Lex Luger smiling at the strength of Bobby Lashley as he has that rack completely in.
Bobby Lashley looking to be your hero as he wrenches it in. I gotta say, you know, Alberto Del Rio, not nearly as impressive in the ring against somebody that is, you know, a worthier opponent. You know, somebody who is his own size. You know, Del Rio, again, we mentioned this, has been picking on all of those little guys.
Oh, but Del Rio will get out of it.
Wonderful counter there.
Oh, wow! Oh, a spybuster of his own.
Unorthodox move by Del Rio, but it proves to be effective. Here's the cover, but he kicks out at 2.
Pop his shoulder up again.
Also have to mention the constant covers. The constant covers that Del Rio keeps going for. The more.
Whoa!
Spear! That's what we were talking about with that speed and that power. That spear sets it up. Dominator.
The Dominator out of nowhere. And Alberto Del Rio's chances have gone from slim to none. Here's the cover. Goodbye.
3.
Good night, Alberto Del Rio. Your chance. You have no chance tonight.
Thanks for coming, Alberto Del Rio. But once again, you just saw that impressive strength, that speed from Bobby Lashley. That monumental spear came when he needed it. He struck out of nowhere with it, and because of that, it led to a Dominator, which guaranteed Bobby Lashley a tremendous victory.
I mean, everything he could, but Lashley absolutely steamrolled the man. Ran right through him.
I'll give Del Rio credit. He kept this a back and forth contest, but it was the spear that came out of nowhere and became the turning point for Bobby Lashley. And I mean, we mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. You know, it's only a matter of time before Bobby Lashley becomes a world champion here in WEDF.
And with these impressive performances happening over and over for the impressive, the dominant Bobby Lashley, that question of when he will be WEDF champion appears to be sooner rather than later.
This is, I mean, every match just continues to build upon the last, and you know, this whole night has just been huge. But unfortunately, I fear that it will take a turn for the worse. Zach, we are going to say good night to you. You're going to go ahead and step aside because, unfortunately...
No, not yet.
Not yet?
No,
not yet. Here.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to kick you off the table. Excuse me. But up next, the huge matchup between Triple H and Brock Lesnar.